All right, we're here. We're the top 5.
Top 5.
This is it.
I'm
excited.
Mass Effect 2.
Wow. ME2?
Yep, it had to show up. Mass Effect is probably one of my favorite franchises of all time. This is the game that I was like, can we do the full? Can we do just the whole series? Can we do the collection as one game? Mm-hmm. Because I was, obviously 1 is the start of the franchise, and it was pretty rough.
It's very RPG.
Yeah, heavy. very, very RPG. But 2 really kind of defined this franchise. It made it more actiony. It did, but it still left some RPG mechanics to it a little bit. But just being able to, Andromeda hides in shame. But yeah, just the fact that your decisions, like, this is like one of the first games to do this, where your decisions kind of mattered, and to some degree, carried on to the next game. But yeah, just the whole premise of the game, spoilers again. Shepard dies at the very beginning, so you gotta, you essentially get to recreate a character, and just the fact that the end game. That it's going to be a suicide mission, and you're recruiting the entire game, and you're doing loyalty missions. It's just, I don't know. It's probably one of the greatest trailers of all time. Go back and watch the original, like, Mass Effect 2 trailer, and tell me that doesn't give you goosebumps. If you played the first one, you have, like, that history.
What about the initial Gears trailer? Gears of War with Mad World.
That was a really great trailer as well, but I think 2 is better only because you've got the experience of the first game. Okay. Although Gears 2 has a very good trailer too, with, like, its poet. It's like a, I don't know. It has like a poetry moment or something. I can't remember exactly how it goes, but yeah. Mass Effect 2, great game, great
man. Game. Yeah, I guess this year was the first time I played through Mass Effect 1 and 2.
You still haven't played through it?
Well, I played on the Wii U, man. People forget, and, like, Mass Effect 3 came out on the Wii U. Like, it was there, man. It was there.
But play it.
I need to play it, like, with my squad, with my saves from 1 and 2. Yeah. Who is your partner of choice in Mass Effect?
Probably Garrus and Rex are my favorites.
Garrus and Rex.
Garrus was a total badass, and Rex, it's Rex. Like, just say his name, it's badass.
Say the name.
Yeah.
Nice. Yeah, Mass Effect 2 is pretty good.
Yeah, and then, like, Mass Effect 3, like, if Ashley lives, she's not a complete piece of shit by the end of that game. Oh, Tally. Yes, Tally's great.
I was going to say Tally.
Tally is... Yeah, Tally's great.
Oh my gosh, what's the blue character's name?
My first playthrough of 3 back on the 360, I romanced Tally.
You can't romance her in 2, though. Right?
Not in 2. Because they haven't gotten, like... She ends up... Because they can't take off their masks. Or her helmet. She figures out a way to do it. I can't exactly remember how it goes, but... Yeah, Tally's great, too. Tally's my favorite female squad mate, I guess.
Yeah, I'm not big on, like, romance in games normally, but...
It's weird. Mass Effect has a very weird couple of sex scenes that are just awkward. Super awkward.
Yeah. Eddie gave everyone
He just fire.
Edie.
Joker.
Oh my gosh, I cannot remember that character.
What?
It's the Asari. Is Asari the...
I don't know. I can't remember her name. Liara. Yeah, Liara.
Yeah. I think that's who I romanced into.
Yeah, Liara, she's cool.
Yeah, normally don't care about that stuff.
The
I mean,
matriarch,
like,
whatever. Or no,
no, it's just the
no. There's the 1 and 2 that you can.
Miranda.
No, that's the clone girl that works for Cerberus.
Right.
No, it's gosh, what's her name? Samara.
She's the matriarch.
Yeah. No,
It's
I think
Liara.
she's like a.
She's the mom. I don't know.
Well, no, Benezia is
but...
Liara's mom. I can't remember exactly what she is. Anyways, Mass Effect 2, great game.
Great game.
Nick, what is your number 5? Top 5, baby. Let's go.
Oh my gosh, yeah, top 5. Man, where did you put?
There's a certain franchise that I hope is on your list, but if it's not, it's okay, because I'll give it the representation. But
Do you mean Halo?
no, I've already given that. Neither of us have spoken about yet.
Oh shoot. Okay, well, Halo 3 is my top 5.
Nice.
I mean,
Get all Halo.
Yeah, Halo 3 is like one of the midnight launches that I remember the most because of the burn energy drink and
Classic.
just staying up, till freaking like 5 a.m. playing it. And like we always kind of made a promise to ourselves a little bit to play at least a chunk of the campaign before diving into the multiplayer.
Yeah, of course.
And we mostly stuck with that.
We did, yeah.
Which I thought was pretty cool.
Do you remember like so for those who don't remember, Crackdown came out, and that was actually a really good game, but it got bundled in with the Halo 3 beta. And then that second day, I think, that beta was out, the Xbox Red ringed. Remember that?
I do remember that. That was the first. Was that the first of many for you?
Technically, yes. I mean, I ended up sending my Xbox in after that beta. But I remember doing the towel trick. We
tried everything.
We tried everything, and it worked for some time. But then it was a wrap. Yeah. Halo 3 was definitely like.
It was that game. Like it was that like.
Yeah, it was great.
That multiplayer game.
I miss midnight releases so bad. It's so much fun.
It just stand up with a bunch of people who are equally as excited about a game as you are. Like it just doesn't translate when you're like, oh, I'm gonna open up this digital game at midnight and play it 10 minutes before I fall asleep in my bed.
Sitting in the GameStop parking lot playing Ninja.
Yeah, playing Ninja.
Yeah, it's fun.
Drinking burn energy. Getting home, drinking some Diet Mountain Dew, staying up.
Some DMD.
Oh yeah, we convinced our parents probably a couple of times to stay out of school a couple of days to play Halo 3, Gears 3. I think that was one of them. Halo Reach. Well, you were in college, but
I think Halo ODST. Me and Diego skipped school and got it. Yeah, it was fun. Good times.
Yeah, that's my number 5. Halo 3, great game. It improved on Halo 2, added in all that equipment, nerfed the assault rifle compared to Halo 1, but I'm not complaining.
Still a great first trailer too. When
oh my god, phenomenal first trailer.
Yeah, it was awesome.
And in Forge mode, I was at that point in my life where I was so excited about these creative
that was Far Cry 2. I was making off Stickly.
Yeah, Harrison. Yeah, for all those listening, Harrison would just make these obstacle courses in Far Cry 2, and me and my friend Adam would try to play through.
Far Cry, Instinct Predator.
Oh yeah, that was it.
Yeah,
we would just try to play through the obstacle course and try not to run our vehicles off the map or whatever.
Super fun.
Yeah, fun times.
All right, number 4. This is the game I mentioned that has had 0 representation so far.
Okay.
Oh, let me hold on.
Formatting issue. Sorry, guys.
Here we go. Ori and the Will of the Wisps.
Yeah. Yeah, that should have been on my list.
Performance aside for this game, because it did have a lot of troubles at launch. and I ended up beating it before it got fixed. But that being said, I just fell in love with this game, and I was coming off like hot from the heels of like the original Ori, because I did play that like about a month prior to this game being released in 2020, just to get caught up. And again, that game was excellent too. But this game just it improved the combat. I love the story. The art style is gorgeous. Um, Between that and Hollow Knight, I was debating so much about, but I just the fact that Ori is so beautiful and it's more open. Hollow Knight just it's kind of I mean it's dark and dingy. Um, yeah, Ori just I love it, man. I love it so much. I love the characters in that game. The boss fights are fun. Like even like the escape moments in the boss fights are fun.
They're so great. Oh my god,
Nick, I feel like you have a lot of regrets right now.
I do. Yeah. Can I like retro?
Did you forget about Ori?
No, I didn't. But somebody convinced me to put Hollow Knight instead of Ori. And here we are. Here we are.
Water is nice.
Water is nice and Ori. Yeah.
Do I think Halo Infinite campaign will be good?
Yes.
I think so. I think it will be. I think it'll be
based
good.
off the previews we've seen, and like I think some previews came out earlier today, but it seems pretty good. Seems incredible.
Yeah, I mean the fact that multiplayer is so well done, like damn near perfect, you know, and we'll get to the here in a little bit with the news. It feels like the best playing Halo I've ever played. Yeah, I have very high hopes for 343, with their campaign. It didn't look great graphically when they revealed it last year. But you know, Halo has also never been like that stunner of a game. So I think me and you, Nick, were both like not necessarily disappointed about the way it looked.
Yeah.
But the way it looks now, it's looks great. The year and some change it's had to manifest and you know come together. Like definitely it was the right decision. Which is funny because you know a month later Cyberpunk came out and here we are with that being delayed again for like the next gen or like the current gen stuff. So
right, like that. Yeah, that's just the tale of what not to do.
Yeah,
and it's cool that they've leaned into the Craig meme.
Oh, of course.
I saw earlier today that they added it into their game, like added a Craig. We'll talk about it later, but they added like a Craig mixtape. Like he went on to become an artist.
Oh god, I didn't see that. That's
and
cool.
Created like a CD. So, all right, well, so yeah, I'm busy like regretting not adding Ori and the Will of the Wisps to my list, but I feel pretty damn confident about my number 4.
Okay.
This is a game that like I know you've played, but I don't know if you finished it. I don't know how much you got into it, but this is one of those games where like I wanted to literally do everything in this game.
Okay.
And that's Celeste.
Celeste.
Yeah, the 2D.
I debated about this being on my list.
Game. I mean, yeah, this is one of those games where like, you know, and this is like common for a lot of the games on my list, but it just feels really good to play.
Yeah.
And the puzzles were so well done. Like they had all the B sides and then all the C sides. And then, you know, they added in chapter 9 a little bit later. And that was just an ultimate test of your skills in Celeste. And this game just did everything right. I think the story was great, but subtle. And, you know, it didn't overstay its welcome, but the gameplay was just so phenomenal. And yeah, that definitely stuck with me while I was making this list. Like,
yeah,
oh, it's so good. It is such a great game, and for $20, probably less now. I mean, I know it goes on sale a lot, but you cannot go wrong with this game. It's so good. Yeah, strawberries. Yeah, the strawberries. Collecting those strawberries in that game. Great challenge. Yeah, that was a great challenge. Yeah, I'm super pumped. I don't even know if I want them to make a Celeste 2 because I kind of want it to like live on its own and just be this game that's amazing by itself. But I would love to see anything else that they create. I think the public or the developers, Matt Makes Games,
Yeah.
So whatever Matt makes, yeah, I'm in. I'm in for it.
For those who are drinking right now, I'm gonna take a little shot, a little Jim Beam apple.
Oh my god, this
Yeah.
guy's crazy.
Yeah, just a little half shot of my little airplane bottle.
Yeah, for those who don't know, Jim Beam apple and Bacardi mango, those are the Harrison staples. So
That's what I drink.
yeah.
Cheers.
Cheers, everybody.
A little mini red Soul Cup. So delicious.
Hey, cheers to get into the top three.
Top three. Nick, I'm about to blow your mind right now.
I'm ready. Blow it. Blow my mind.
So, here we go. Top 3 game of all time. Zelda. Ocarina of Time.
You madman. It's not number one?
It's not number 1.
Man, oh man.
It's not number 1.
I don't even know what this list is going to be now.
So, yeah, I mean, when we first started this podcast, like our first episode was your favorite game of all time was, back then, this was 2019. It was Zelda. Ocarina of Time for me. Yeah, I mean, this game just, it means so much to me. It's one of my first experiences in gaming. I just love this game. Specifically, just playing with like my mom, our mom. Back in Florida, like she would sit there with the strategy guide. I would play the game, and that carried over into when we moved to North Carolina. But yeah, it's got probably the best music in gaming for me specifically. Just and also you had to play those too, like all those soundtracks, all those songs are like iconic. Yeah, it was incredible. I mean, it doesn't necessarily hold up anymore, and that's why it's number 3 for me. That's why I would love to see like a remake or for them to port the 3DS version to Switch and up-res it or whatever.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's my first entry into Zelda. And again, you didn't have that nostalgia for that back in the day. Because I was, I think, 7, and you were, what, 3 coming on 4? So, I mean, you weren't playing games really by then. So, yeah, it's just, such a fun time.
I think you were kind of born at the perfect time for gaming because...
Sorry, guys.
Because gaming, like, really got cool once you were born.
Yeah. And
you start seeing these 3D games, and of course, like it was cool before, but
yeah,
I feel like of course we're more nostalgic about these type of games because they were our childhood.
Quest 64, anybody remember that
game? You had that, right?
I did. Hot Wheels Turbo Racing, Nick.
Dude, don't get me started on Hot Wheels Turbo Racing.
Got it, Renew.
That should have been on my list. Like, oof. That game, it took the racing franchise and it absolutely turned it on its head.
I think.
I love that game.
Speaking of racing, real quick, if I can, slight tangent. I think Burnout Paradise is my favorite racing game of all time. But I think Forza 5 is probably going to end up taking that. Yeah, I think so.
Okay.
I think so. It's a game.
Yeah, it's a great game. All right, Harrison. Well, I think when we had our very first episode back on November 10th, 2019, you gave your favorite game of all time is Zelda Ocarina of Time. I gave mine to Fire Emblem, or Fire Emblem the Blazing Sword in Japan, which is Fire Emblem 7, by the way. But the first Fire Emblem in the US. So I'm going to put that as my number 3.
Nice.
The first Fire Emblem in the US. I mean, this game got me into one of my favorite franchises of all time. I can't tell you a lick about the story of this game, but the gameplay is just, it's all there. It's like, it's a tactical game. Like, I'm not normally into like tactical games like XCOM or anything like that, but there is something about Fire Emblem that just, instantly clicks with me and just feels so good to play. And like leveling up these characters, having, those, yeah, very, very well animated sprites. Like Fire Emblem and Fire Emblem The Sacred Stones have some of the very best animations in gaming. And I feel like that a lot of that was lost on like the 3D Fire Emblem games like Awakening, Fates, and Three Houses, because they just absolutely killed it with that animation. Like
Yeah.
it was just so cool looking. Like every single class had its own critical animation that was like really, really cool. Like it just felt awesome. Like recruiting characters was difficult because you had to recruit enemies on the map with specific characters that you had. You had to go up and talk to them, and maybe you could recruit them. And like I really hope this game gets some sort of remake, but I also don't want them to change too much. I want them to keep the sprite art style that they had with the original game, and just go with that instead of trying to like make it like a 3D remake. But
Yeah, or do like a like an Advance Wars kind of thing, like Fire Emblem, you know, 1 and 2 for like US or whatever, something like that. Yeah, that'd be awesome.
Yeah, and this game is actually a prequel to Fire Emblem 6, which is Fire Emblem: The Blazing Sword, and yeah, this kind of made me want to, and I ended up buying a Japanese copy on eBay, and then looking up like the translations and writing them all down just to know like the character names and all that.
Awesome.
And I've talked about this before, but
yeah,
just to like know who to recruit. And like I knew the game so well that I could just look at like the option screen and know like what was an attack, what these weapons were, like what was like the intern, what was the suspend button, like I knew it like the back of my hand. And yeah, this franchise will always stick with me in that regard.
Yeah.
All right.
Yeah,
We're getting into that top two.
Yeah, I don't have any Fire Emblem on my list here, but I mean, I playing the two games on the Game Boy Advance back in the day was so much fun. I would love to see a remaster of both of those, like they're doing for Advance Wars, something like that.
Yeah.
I played a little bit of Fates on 3DS. I have it, but I couldn't quite get into it. I don't know why.
I don't think it was as strong as Awakening or
the
other ones.
I'm not sure. Maybe I need to go back and like try it, but it just didn't. I don't know. I didn't click with it or whatever. Yeah, I think Fire Emblem is a great franchise. I do want to try Three Houses at some point, but I don't know. We'll see.
Yeah, that's a great game. It's a long game.
So now that we're on our top two, chat, how do you guys feel? However, you said you were going to be judging us. How does it feel?
Yeah, how do our lists look side by side? A lot of different games on here. I mean,
I'll switch back over real quick.
Keep in mind our second giveaway is coming up just after we get through our top 25 list. So stay tuned for that. Yeah, it was a lot of different games on here. I mean, I feel like we have a lot of similar opinions on games.
We do, yeah.
But, also kind of as an offshoot of that, we're also playing, I'm playing games like, Fire Emblem and, you're loving games like Dead Space, BioShock. Yeah, there's a lot of differences here. I mean, I'm most surprised on your list by Splosion Man. It's like, how the hell did that make a top 25? But
it's just the timepiece.
It is a timepiece. And and to be honest, I had SSX Tricky on my list for a little bit as 25.
I did as well.
Yeah.
Let's go and dive into it, man. Switch back over here.
Ocarina of Time is top 3 for Frau Pacino. Yeah. For sure.
Number 2, Mario Odyssey.
Wow. This guy's crazy.
I haven't seen a Mario. I haven't had a Mario game yet on here, so I mean,
I know your number 1 is.
Kind of piggyback what you said. I mean, probably the my favorite 3D Mario. I mean, it is my favorite 3D Mario game of all time.
Mhm.
It's just it perfectly blends, like, just, I don't know, that 3D Mario feel with just an open kind of, not necessarily world because they're not huge worlds, but
they're big enough.
they're big enough. But they're
Yeah.
all different. There's like 15 different areas you can go to. They're all different. The fact that you take over a character is so cool. Like, the first time you go
Yeah.
into like
It's brutal.
you take over the T-Rex, it's so, like, I don't know, it's different. It's so cool.
Yeah.
And then obviously, my son, last year after I started working from home, like, he really got into to Mario games, and it's kind of the not the biggest reason why I got an OLED, but I wanted one. Whatever.
Big reason. Yeah.
I wanted to splurge. But the fact that he had taken over my Switch completely and absolutely fell in love with Mario. We started with what did we start with? Odyssey, and then moved on to like 3D World when I got that. Mario All Stars Collection. So that's kind of like a big factor in why it's like one of my favorite games of all time, just because of that. But also, it's just such a fun game.
It is. It is just so fun. It is a genuinely fun game to play, and I feel like that's kind of rare in a lot of games these days.
Yeah. I wish they would have done more DLC for it. Like, I don't see why they couldn't do like one other world. That's kind of crazy to me. Hopefully there's a Mario Odyssey 2 or something very similar like it. Or just like a straight up like open world Mario. That would be kind of insane to think about.
Yeah.
But we will see.
Hopefully they're busy. Yeah, working on the next Mario Odyssey. That's all I can hope.
Yeah, we've played a lot of games over
all
like 20 years. We have, we talk shit about like Sony and like the fanboys for that, mainly because I feel like Sony, like, those fanboys are just for Sony and PlayStation games
and literally nothing
else. And I'm like, but everybody can own everything. You can play everything if you want to. You can play Xbox on PC now, right? So I mean, it is what it is. But that being said, we've played a hell of a lot of games, from indie games to like AAA. We don't play a lot of Call of Duty these days.
But we play a lot of other stuff.
Yeah.
Yeah, well, I mean, we don't play Call of Duty and Battlefield, but we play like Psychonauts and Shin Megami Tensei 5.
Yeah. Psychonauts 2 was that's a good game.
Yeah, I don't know if it's a top 25 for me, but it is a game of the year contender, I think.
It is, and again, these are all subjective. So like, if Psychonauts 2 wins game of the year this year, and Metroid Dread doesn't, it's subjective. So
yeah, and totally unreliable. So there are no Xbox fanboys. There are, I mean, there are definitely Xbox fanboys that will just go to anything that PlayStation tweets out and tweet Xbox is better or whatever. But I just feel like it's more common on the PlayStation side.
My one point I will make versus Xbox fanboys and PlayStation fanboys is, and it probably has happened and people have chatted about it, but anytime PlayStation has announced that Horizon, God of War, so-and-so is coming to PC, they lose their freaking minds over it. And this is
like
years,
they don't want it to come to PC.
This is years later after the game has been released. Like, it's brilliant. It's kind of brilliant marketing strategy for PlayStation. Like, you have
right
these
the
top tier games coming out, a year prior to, when they're like you said, the sequels are going to be released. It's brilliant. But Sony fanboys lose their mind. And again, I have all the consoles. Like, I don't have a PS5. You do, Nick, but and I will own a PS5 because I love they do have better games than Xbox does for sure. You know, that being said, in 5 years,
What?
well, you know, in 5 years, maybe that script will flip because of all the games that or all the studios that Microsoft and Xbox have purchased. You know, it could flip, but right now, I mean, like Horizon, God of War, you know, Uncharted, Last of Us, you know, fantastic.
Yeah, I would think, yeah, to answer your question, unreliable. I think they're the most adamant. I mean, everyone's kind of a fanboy in their own right. Like when I had a Wii U, I talked shit on the Xbox One and PS4, even though I knew I was wrong. But I just did it because
I mean,
people
Xbox One
were,
was kind of garbage, to be honest.
yeah. But I just did it because people were, you know, talking shit to me because I had a Wii U. I'm like, well, Wii U has Mario Kart 8 and Splatoon soon, maybe. But I mean, yeah, like everyone is a bit of a fanboy. Like you can't be completely unbiased. It's impossible. Like yeah.
Like, I mean, Nick, would you say you and I are both like we lean more inside of like Nintendo, right? Like
we lean more
we get most
Nintendo.
hype for that kind of stuff, right?
Yeah, definitely. I think so. Yeah, Nintendo and then kind of Xbox and then PlayStation's kind of like the last, but you know.
And I've always preferred Xbox, to be honest, but you know, during like the Don Matrick days and when like the Xbox One first released, like their marketing was so terrible. And they initially started with, you know, the weird like umbrella like E3 where they were like putting, I don't know if it was slime, but I don't know, it was weird when like they first announced the Kinect, like that kind of presentation, like that you had to wear like extra clothing because you're gonna get wet, or I can't exactly remember what it was. It was weird.
Gonna get so wet tonight.
It was a weird marketing campaign, and everything had to be online, and like DRM issues. Yeah, it was not a good look for Xbox, and Xbox One was pretty bad, and that's why the PS4 just sold so much better. And because they had, you know, just fantastic games, right? But you know, the fact, you know, now that Phil Spencer has taken over, you know, they've acquired a bunch of studios. Game Pass has been evolved. I mean, you can't argue that Game Pass is the best deal in gaming. Period.
It is.
You know, and I think that's why Nintendo has been so bad here, especially with like their, you know, their new expansion pack. Is you're paying as much as you are now a year for PS Plus and Xbox Ultimate, whatever. And you're not getting free games, and you know, so everyone's got their opinion. Everyone's got their preferred gaming platform. You and I are, we're always gonna probably own all three at any given point.
Yeah, at some point.
So it is what it is. But oh yeah, for sure they lost the previous gen. Absolutely.
All right, Harrison. I have my number 2.
What?
All right. So it's Cyberpunk 2077. I think that game was phenomenal. I think it nailed every aspect. Didn't have any bugs on launch. I'm just gonna go ahead and type that out. Actually, Cyberpunk Zelda Breath of the Wild. So yeah. So my number 2 is Zelda Breath of the Wild. Yeah. Surprise, surprise, everybody. It's not number 1. Not a Nintendo fanboy after all, am I? No. Yeah, Zelda Breath of the Wild. I mean, there's not much to say about this game other than
I have no idea what your number 1 is.
Well, you better think hard, brother, because it's coming in hot. It's not my number 1 either. Well, yeah.
Pokemon Sword and Shield. Oh.
I think yeah, Sword and Shield. Yeah, just to kind of touch on Breath of the Wild, and I think that's your number 1 game, but I'm not going to say that it is. It completely refined the open world format, and I think it's the best open world game. I think it's the best Zelda game. Like, I know the dungeons aren't that acclaimed, but I still think like the game nails every other aspect of it. Just open world progression, like, you know, going and finding an enemy camp, and then just like asking yourself, how can I take these guys down? And I can either like roll a boulder over, or I can set them all on fire, or I can just go down and slash them all with my sword or something. And you know, yeah, it's in my opinion a perfect open world game. It's not a perfect Zelda game.
Yeah.
And I'm hoping that the sequel to Legend of Zelda Breath of the Wild can achieve that with the dungeons. And maybe that will end up taking my number one. But yeah, Breath of the Wild is God, yeah, it's one of the greatest games of all time. It's the reason a lot of people got the Switch. It's the reason I got the Switch. I mean, I would have gotten it anyways, but it's yeah, one of the greatest experiences of all time in gaming.
Yeah, I mean,
So,
it is.
Harrison, I'm just gonna let you continue that with your number one.
My number one is not Breath of the Wild. It is actually.
Is it Cyberpunk?
It is actually. If I could, can I? There we go. Let me undo this list real quick. It's actually Dragon Ball Z. No, I'm just kidding. It's Zelda. It's Zelda Breath of the Wild.
Dragon Ball Z Kakarot.
It is. And I debated very hard for this between Ocarina of Time and Breath of the Wild. And we had talked a little bit about it. I do feel like it's probably my favorite open world game of all time. And mechanically, it's a fun game just to go through that world, and just like you said, like, you know, every scenario can be different based on where you're at. Do I think it's the best Zelda game? And I know it's kind of a weird concept to ask or question to ask.
Mm-hmm.
Because I think Zelda Ocarina of Time is my favorite Zelda of all time. I don't think Breath of the Wild is necessarily a great Zelda game, specifically because of the dungeons. There's no dungeons in this game. You have the Divine Beasts. You have like the little what are they called? The shrines.
Shrines,
which are like
yeah.
very quick kind of like puzzles or whatever. But
Yeah.
it just doesn't have like that Zelda vibe. And again, I mentioned this previously, but I want them to correct that or make that better in the sequel. So I have very high hopes for it.
Yeah.
So far, and I'm coming off of Skyward Sword. I'm really hoping it ties into Skyward Sword, by the way, because I actually really do like that game.
That's a great game.
Yeah, but yeah.
All right, so your number one game of all time is Legend of Zelda Breath of the Wild.
I'm very curious to see.
You're wondering, man. Yeah, I see you over there. You're wondering what mine is. All right, so I think mine was on your list.
Okay.
And it's from a certain franchise that I really love. You know, some people who are more inclined would call it the Soulsborne franchise.
Bloodborne.
But I think Bloodborne is my favorite game of all time.
I got you a present.
And yeah, this is a game I've probably played through 4 or 5 times and got slightly into speedrunning it, and would watch the best ways to beat this game. And yeah, it perfected the Soulsborne formula.
Yeah.
You know, all the bosses were absolutely perfect. They were like scary in their own way, but were formidable and were difficult. But you still had that like extreme sense of progression, and you had all these weapons, and you could transform them into another type of weapon essentially. And there was just so much more to unlock. And yeah, I absolutely love this game so much, and I hope it gets a remaster or a remake or a sequel of some sort on the PS5. And I see that Noodles agrees with me with Bloodborne.
I am so happy that Final Fantasy X is on your top 5. By the way, Noodles, I got a little bit of regrets right now. I had that in my list but
Oh, 10?
yeah, 10. It
Yeah.
inevitably got cut. Final Fantasy X is my favorite Final Fantasy game by a mile. There's nothing remotely close. Yeah, maybe that should have been on my top 25, but you know, again, subjective. We'll forget stuff. Yeah, so good.
Yeah, for anyone that's stuck with us throughout this whole list, what do you think is the better list out of these three? And they're all they're very different. It's all subjective, but yeah, I'm glad I'm glad we kind of differed as much as we did.
Yeah, we had a lot of similar stuff, but it was pretty different for the most part.
Yeah.
Oh, I have a sword and a shield.
Well, nice, Harrison. Congratulations on your top 25.
Yes.
It only took 2.5 hours to go through.
Yeah, 2.5 hours.
Yeah.
Yeah. Bloodborne for